Hey guys, it's Yusafa. Welcome back to another Voices of the Community. So every player in the contest has a story. For some, it starts with their favorite Marvel hero. For others, it begins with curiosity. For today's guest, it started with an ad on his phone and a healthy dose of skepticism. Deadeye grew up on fighting games like Mortal Kombat, Tekken, and Soul Calibur, and he never thought a mobile game could capture that same energy. But Marvel Contest of Champions surprised him, and eventually pulled him in for good, thanks in part to his son, who was really the first to master the game and challenge him to return. Deadeye's journey hasn't been about champions and content clears. Along the way, he's built deep friendships, the kind that feel more like a family. The community has kept him motivated throughout the grind, through real life challenges, and through moments where he thought about walking away. His name, Deadeye, goes all the way back to college and competitive shooting, a reminder that precision, patience, and focus has always been a part of who he is. Outside the game, Deadeye is a CPA with a master's degree in accounting, a family man who plays most nights while watching TV with his wife. And yes, she still insists on opening his crystals for good luck. Inside the game, he's a member of GOMV, where he competes alongside both whales and grinders, motivated by internal drive rather than external pressure. In this episode, we'll talk about his path from a casual player to competitive alliance member, his evolving relationship with spending, and why, after all these years, he still sees Marvel Contest of Champions as more than just a game. This is the story of Deadeye. Hey guys, it's Yusafa back with another Voices of the Community. Today, I'm really excited. Deadeye, how about you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hey y'all, this is Deadeye. Glad to be here. I can't wait to be part of this a great new series that Yusuf is doing, and I hope I can answer all the questions he has.
Outstanding. So, Deadeye, you and I did a little pre-work beforehand, and you sent me a background information with regards to how you started the game and your experiences of the game. We'll just start kicking it off right now. You mentioned that your first introduction to MCOC came from a mobile ad for your love for fighting and your love for fighting games, and you've played multiple fighting
Right.
games in the past. I think console is where you focused on mostly.
Mostly,
Yeah.
yeah.
What was it
Mortal
about?
Kombat. I mean,
Yeah, go ahead.
so go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was going to ask, what was it about the contest that convinced you to give it a shot after all of the PC and console games that you had played?
Well, I really loved Mortal Kombat, and I remember back when I first went to college. I didn't finish there, but I was um, every day we pretty much would play Mortal Kombat 2 or Mortal Kombat 3
Yep.
or Killer Instinct on like Sega and all that stuff back in, we're talking old consoles that most people don't even know now these days.
Right. Right.
um, and I just, I remember, I don't remember what game I was playing, but it just one of the ad came across for Marvel, and I've always been a Marvel fan.
Okay.
The first animation Marvel, X-Men TV shows back in the 90s was amazing, and I watched every one of them and fell in love with it. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna give it a shot. And I liked the storyline and the game, and just be able to play on my phone just blew my mind. So
Right. Now, you also said that that you downloaded the game first, but somebody else in your life got hooked on it. Tell us about that.
yeah, so I played it for about maybe 5 or 6 months and got a little bored with it because when it first, I mean, I was pretty much near the beginning.
Right.
I don't have the veterans title, but I was very soon after that I started. And at that time, the people who've played this game and knows this, it was very rudimentary, and it was like the same mechanics and the same animations almost.
Yep.
Very few different things, and they didn't have dexing and pairing and anything like that at that time.
Yep.
Um, so I put it down, and then my son, who's about 11 years old, started picking up the game, and he downloaded it on his phone, and he started bragging about how good he was being and how it was like, oh, look, I mean, how many 4 stars do you have? And I said, I don't have any. Because, well, I've got three now, huh? And he's starting to goad me a little bit.
Right.
And so I told him, I said, it's like, you're going to keep it up, you're going to awaken the dragon. And he was like, oh, yeah, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So I did. I picked up the game, and I've been playing pretty much every day ever since.
Right.
And quickly surpassed him. He still plays this day. We talk about it a lot. But I think he's Thronebreaker. He might be Paragon now.
Right.
He doesn't play it nowhere near as I do, like I do. But
Well, he's no longer
um,
11
yeah.
either, right? I mean, he's now
No, he's
he's in a
20. He's 21 now.
yep, he's a grown adult. Yeah.
Yeah.
He probably looks back at his dad and be like, "What the hell are you doing, Dad? Why are you still playing this game?" Do you, so
Actually, he's heavily into PS5 games now.
okay,
Um, Skyrim, God of War, all that, which I enjoy too.
yeah,
Don't get me wrong, but I just don't have the time. I'm a CPA, and I just don't have the time for that. Like I really would love to have, but I just don't. And like right now,
right,
being in busy season, we have about another week left, and I'm putting in like 70-hour weeks. It's just tough
absolutely,
to
yeah.
find time for.
So, do you remember the moment that MCOC went from being just another mobile game to something that you knew you'd stick with long term?
Well, yeah, I do. Around
Yeah,
about, let's see, when my son started picking up the game, I'd walk into the living room, and he'd be watching YouTubers, and I
yeah,
was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Why are you watching other people play a game? Why don't you just play it yourself?" And he was like, "Oh, I'm just learning different things, and they got pretty good content." And I was like, "Okay, whatever." I thought it was weird. I really did.
right.
And so I was uh, started. I actually watched a couple with him,
Yep,
and I was like, "Wow, that's pretty amazing." I didn't know that character could do that.
yep.
And I think he was watching Brian Grant
Okay,
at the time,
the legend.
and or it was, yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
Yep,
And so I was like, "Oh, that's pretty amazing." And I started uh, at work watching the playbacks of Brian Grant. I became one of the playback crew,
yep,
and and over time, just started watching him and Legacy and
yep,
Rich the Man and a lot of the older legends,
yep.
and I realized like, wow, this is pretty amazing. And then I came across a really good alliance, um, which we were back then. I think the alliance were just started, and I didn't know anything. I still hardly know anything about the game, to be honest with you. But um, well, we started getting together, and it's just the community of that was
Yeah,
just amazing. And that's one of the reasons I played in the game so long, is because of the friendships that I've made and the community. And in fact, one of them, his name's in the game, his name is Almighty Myth, and he don't play as much. Yes, he still talk to him every once in a while, but he was a leader, and he ended up actually having cancer,
oh
stomach
wow,
cancer, and he beat it. And
yeah,
but he was while he was, I think it was about 3 years, 2 or 3 years, he was in and out of hospitals and getting treatment, and he couldn't work, and so he played the game all the time, and
yeah,
he was by far one of the best Quake players I've ever seen in my life.
yep,
And he got me interested in that, and that's when I started realizing that wow, there's these different characters have so many great mechanics, and they're actually a lot of fun to play.
right,
And I enjoy playing those characters that have the weirdness to them, or the like different um, specific mechanics of learning how to play them. And like Tigra, I love playing Tigra. I'm not MSD Tiger good, but
yep,
but I'm decent. And yeah, but he ended up beating cancer, and I still keep in touch with him, and he's
yep,
married now with a daughter, and one of my
yep,
greatest friends that I'll have for the rest of my life, and that I've actually never
yep.
met in real life.
Yeah, it's amazing how that works, right? I mean, we
Yeah.
have been connected through this mobile game, and we have formed real life relationships with the people that we've played with. And I tell my wife and my family, of the people that I have met in this game and the time that I've spent with them and how I consider them my real friends. And it's curious to them because they're like, wait a minute, this is just a mobile game that you play, right? How can you build these lifelong friendships? But the fact is that you do. You spend so much time with these people.
Yeah.
It's amazing, and that's
Good.
one of the
Yeah.
best things about this game is the community that we form around ourselves and how important they are to our lives. So absolutely. So your friend did beat cancer, and you still keep in touch with
Yeah.
him. Does he still play the game, or is he kind of
He does. They're probably in maybe a Plat 4, Plat 5
okay?
alliance, I believe. Um, we were part of the alliance that broke up, and I've
Yeah,
been in quite a few of them that just fell apart.
yeah,
And once they do, I've seen it, and I saw one recently about a year ago that I was still in chat with, and I noticed that one person left, and it was like the leader who left, and he was over,
yeah,
And I kept telling him, "It's like, all right, you guys can rebuild. Just next thing you know, you guys are going to start dropping off like flies, and this alliance will be dead. So if you want to
Yeah.
save it, but it died. But
Right.
but it happens a lot, unfortunately. But
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of like the natural evolution of the game is, alliances form and they eventually break up after a period of time. So, yeah,
yep,
absolutely.
yep, exactly.
Now, just to let you know that, I mean, you mentioned some of these content creators that you did watch. I did take that background information that you had sent me, and I showed it to the content creators program.
Yeah,
And Legacy and MSD both really appreciate the words that you said about them, and
awesome.
they do appreciate you watching and supporting them. So uh, it it does go around. They watch these videos too, so they truly appreciate it, and that's really what they want to do is to make a positive impact on people's lives. So they just wanted to say thank you.
That's fantastic.
Yep.
Yeah, I thank them because you know I don't know. I just MSD is not human.
Yeah.
Um, we just know that he's just not, and
Yep.
he's an amazing player. And I watched him, his videos later. Whenever I guess when he was 16 and beating the champion in
Yeah.
like Comic Con or whatever, and I was just
Oh yeah.
like unreal because I remember doing that fight and about ready to throw my phone, as far as I could throw
Yep.
it.
Yep. Yeah.
And
He's a,
he did it like it was nothing, and I was like, wow, that's just amazing. But
yeah.
I remember,
He's incredibly
yeah,
skilled and such a nice
yeah.
guy. Yep. Absolutely.
He seems like he is, and
Yeah.
I remember talking to him one time. Not really him talking to him, but in chat.
Yep.
This is when I first became legend. Went back when we had to do the two story content, fully completed in under 3 hours,
Yep.
and I just got it. And he was talking about doing it himself, and he hadn't done it. And I told him, well, I made it, and he was like, "Well, how long did it take him?" I said, "About 3 hours and 20 minutes." And he was like, "3 hours and 20 minutes," because that was like a really long time.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, I was one of the last ones on the list, but I got it."
So
Uh,
you remember the moment that you got the legend title too. So that's great.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was my third attempt, and I got it, and it
Right.
was a big deal for me. And I used I think Corvus in the first. No, I think I used Ghost in the first section and Corvus in the second section.
Yep.
And I believe it might have been the other way around, but I remember getting that notification on my phone that I got the Legends title, and I was like, it was a great achievement for me. So
Yeah.
and and I still run that title today because everybody else has so many Legends titles, but I just wanted people to know that I'm one of the actual original Legends.
You're one of the originals. So you talked about,
Yeah,
so early when you started playing this game, you talked about not knowing how to parry your decks for years, right? Not until you actually started
yeah,
watching these prolific YouTubers that are out there. Uh,
exactly.
that's kind of hard for new players to imagine today. How do you think discovering those mechanics changed your approach to the game? I mean, it wasn't just parry and decks, but I mean, learning those new things. Did your gameplay? I'm sure your gameplay improved, but then did it also dig you deeper into Marvel contests that you have made and try to learn more about more of the mechanics that were out there, as well as the powers of these champions that you were using?
Yeah, it did. I know that I used to run arena like crazy because when I first started, I
Yep.
was free to play,
Yep.
and pretty much the best way to get units was through arenas,
Of
and
course. Yeah.
I would take that opportunity to practice dexting um, everybody's specials.
Yep.
And there's still a few that I just still can't to this day get down, like Punisher. I just cannot get that SP1 down for nothing. I mean, I hit it every once in a while, but most of the time he dies. And right now he's in my path in map 8, and I take so much of my health away, and it's frustrating. But
Yep.
yeah, but right now there's so many more mechanics, and there's the complexity of the game is
Yeah.
so much higher. And
Do
I
you,
know we talked about you pretty much have to have like a PhD to play this game.
yeah. Do you feel that
Um,
the increased complexity is exciting for you in playing this game, or do you think it's kind of a detractor that causes maybe like some burnout? Do you like the additional complexity compared to when the game first launched?
I do. It's almost like a double edged sword there because
Yeah.
I like it, but at the same time, I think it's so fast
Yeah.
that you don't have time to really truly understand it until you get into a spot like in war where one death can cause a war, and
Yep.
and you don't fully understand something. There's been quite a few times where I've like I brought Silk in against somebody, and I think it was the Rage Glance node on map or Path 8, and I was like, why is my physical vulnerability not sticking? Why can't I get these heavy charges down? And then one of my alliance members, Mega, who was one of the best ones in one of my good friends I had now, and great in my alliance,
Yep.
has been working with me like all the time and teaching me all these things. And he was like, "Oh, it's because in glancing you don't get the physical vulnerability on them." And I'm like, oh, "Well, that'd have been nice to know before I joined."
Right. Right.
But yeah, because it ended up causing a death, unfortunately.
Yep.
Um, but
So
yeah, it's I think I would love to see maybe them slow down a little bit on mechanics, or maybe instead of two champs every single month, maybe one a month.
yeah. Yeah. I've
Because there's 250 plus characters, and it's like I feel like I used to be on top of it, but now I feel like I'm kind of almost underwater.
yeah.
So
I mean, I've heard that feedback from several people, and over the years, why are you releasing two champions per month? Why not go back to one? And
mhm.
I think the answer always comes back to revenue. I mean, the way that
Yeah,
BAM does make their money is through crystal sales and selling these brand new champions. So I think if they were to scale back, they would have to try to make their revenue in some other form or function. I don't know if they're able to do that. But yeah, I would like to see a slowdown as well. I think two champions a month may be a little overkill. I mean, it the pace of the game definitely tries to keep up with that. Yeah, so definitely. So speaking of, I mean, you once described yourself as a free-to-play casual player, um, and
yes.
and even an alliance leader. But now you're part of GomV. What's the difference between playing in a high-level alliance versus a more casual stance to the game?
Well, really, it's like I know, and my alliance is amazing, and our leader Cap PT is
Yep.
just outstanding and very patient and with everybody, and he's mentioned over and over again, it's like we do not require people to spend. If you want to spend, you can. Do it, but
Yep.
it's not required to. And I take that to heart. But there's an internal pressure of wanting to compete
Yep.
and stay relevant in this game, and I started bumping that up. And I was spending a little bit before. I did the sigil pretty much from day one,
Yep.
and because like I said, I did a lot of arenas, and that even that little bitty mechanic of not having like an automatic uh mechanic where it just like goes right to next fight, and it I'm able to knock out the milestone for the 6 star arena in like a 2.5 hours, 2.5 to 3 hours. And now it takes me about 4.5 hours to get through it, and
Yep.
it's it's only $10 a month, but and some people that can't afford it at all, but it's just I feel the pressure, and I feel
Yep.
the pain of that. But but yeah, so that kind of gets to our next topic, is like why I right now am stepping away from that uh, spending. And if you don't mind me going right into it,
No, go
I'll
right
tell
ahead.
you. But
Yeah, go right ahead.
so so as you know, and everybody in this community knows, and even people who play the game or who are designers and everything else who play the game know that it takes a long time to uh, build up crystals and hoard crystals. Like I
Yeah.
saw your video, I guess, a couple weeks ago when you had those Titans. You had like
Yeah. That was
13 Titan crystals, right? I
was
know it's
no
brutal because
fun.
that's what I was.
Brutal.
I feel your pain. I feel your pain. It's
Yeah.
like so many max sigs, but at the same time, I think it's incredible. but
Yep.
uh, but I had 13 myself saved up,
Yep.
and I had one Nexus, and it takes a long time. I mean, I was probably hoarding for at least 2 months,
Yep.
and because I knew that the new Titan crystal coming out was going to be a banger, and I was like, okay, I really want to take advantage of that.
Yep.
And this is my fault because what I did is I converted them all to crystals, and I know that whenever it updates, it pops out the new crystals. It's not like,
Yep.
oh, you're stuck with what they were before.
Yep.
So during the event where we had the Sat Cast Relics
Yep.
release. Um, I waited for like the last part of the event to buy a bunch of them. I spent a bunch of units and got a bunch of them to help out my alliance and also get my rewards. Um, and I wasn't paying attention, and I popped 10 of those Titan crystals.
Oh man.
And I was like,
Oh, that's
and
brutal.
I was like trying to kill the phone, was trying to kill the phone, kill the app and everything. I
Yeah.
was like, and I came back and I was like, oh my god! So I
Oh,
immediately put a ticket in.
yeah.
I immediately put a ticket in. I said, I'm sorry, I accidentally did this. It was a mistake. And and they came back, and for about a week, I went back and forth with Kabam support,
Yep.
and they kept saying, I was like, oh, we can't change them because it'll affect the integrity of the game. And I
Oh,
said, well, I didn't say that I'm not happy with what I have. I'm just saying it was a mistake. I didn't want to open them.
yep.
I was holding them for so long, and they kept coming back, basically saying that, oh, you're. I forgot exactly what they said, but it got to a point where it looked like they were basically saying, well, you just didn't like what you got,
Yeah.
and now you want your other crystals back. And I said, no, that's not the case. And I even asked them to escalate it. I mean, I was cordial the entire way,
Yeah.
and and somebody, and it went through three different people, and they came back, and the last person was like, oh yeah, we escalated, and after I see this, I have some information to give you. And I'm sitting there thinking, oh, this is good, and like, this is great. And it was like, yeah, we can't do that. We can't go back and do it. And I was
Yeah.
like, I said, and I told him, and at that point, I was pissed. And I said, look, it's like, I know you have the capabilities of doing this. I've seen YouTubers
Yeah.
sit there and accidentally open up stuff, and then they can get them back, and I know they do it. I was like, and I was like, I'm sorry, but I don't accept this. And if you don't take care of this and work with me on this and know that it was an accident, I didn't do it on purpose. And you could
Yep.
see it, that I held those for a long time. That it just happened to be at the same time I opened the other crystals up, and it was
Yep.
just a mistake.
Yep.
And I said, I will stop spending on this game. It was
Yep.
like, and they were like, the last email they basically told me was like, well, since there's nothing we could do, we can't keep you happy. They basically just told me to F off.
Really?
And it's, in a way, not in exactly that way, but they basically said, we're not going to respond anymore. We're going to mark this as being read, and any other responses to this are going to be left unread. And I'm like, "Oh, that is a really crappy way to take care of your community." And I
Yeah.
was like, and I stopped. I stopped my sigil right then, and I haven't spent since. And
Wow.
you know, I I don't know if I'm going to stay that way. I mean, I was going to go to Vancouver
Yeah.
because I had training that week, the week before, and I was going to hop up after that for the weekend and come home. Um,
So
and I was like, I'm not doing that now either. So I was like, I was very frustrated and just down because of
so,
that.
so is what do you think a solution to the, I mean, let's say they're not going to refund your crystals, and now it's been enough time that enough time has passed that they've probably swept it under the rug and not going to address it again. What could
Yeah.
Kabam do to earn your trust back again, in order for you to reinitiate your spending habits with the game?
I don't know if there's really much they can do,
Yeah.
especially since this past, I don't know, past year, they've had so many problems with
Yeah.
crystal opening, launchings, and events, and I'm not upset about any of them. Like I'm probably one of the most unpopular opinion people where I actually enjoy this new EQ that they
Yeah.
have. I think it might be a little long, but I enjoy the content of it, and one champion at a time. I would love to have maybe like a kind of like the Crucible where
Yeah.
you start the next fight full health. That'd be kind of cool. But I enjoy it. I don't like the idea of having to do the lower difficulty first and then turn around and have to do the older version. I wish you could just choose one or the other, kind of like
Yeah.
we used to do with the Paragauntlet.
Yeah, they did mention
Um,
that they're going to remove that requirement, in the
Good. Yeah.
next couple of months. So yeah, they announced that on live stream, the other day. Yeah, which is great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. I couldn't go to that. My wife had a dentist appointment. I had to take her, so I
Right.
was kind
Right.
of listening to it. I
Family.
listened to it after the fact, but not really paying attention.
Right.
So, but
No,
But yes, yeah,
that's incredibly. I apologize. I don't have anything to do with it, but I think that's terrible. You saved up all those shards. I mean,
yeah,
in the future, yeah, it'd probably good not to convert those to crystals, so you don't have
yeah.
the mistake
I
of
won't.
opening them, right? Yeah, but
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, customer service. You would also think that, I mean, it would be easy to back out of that opening. So
yeah.
that's terrible. Um,
Yeah, I
moving on.
mean, and they
Yeah,
could do the research on that and be able to say, I was like, well, is this guy really saying that, or
yeah,
is he just, or is this truly what happened? And they can go back and look
yeah,
at the same time in my gameplay with my digital register or footprint that they can see that.
yeah,
Um, so I don't know. It just I do think that I probably won't be free to play forever because I think more than anything, I enjoy my alliance, enjoy the people I'm with, and
yeah,
I may help out from time to time, and that'd be the only reason I'd get back into it. But right now, I'm strictly just try to be free to play as much as possible
yeah.
until I get over my frustrations.
No, I hear you, man. Now, back when you were spending, and I'm interested about this. Is one of the big questions I wanted to ask you. Is back when you were
Okay,
spending on the game, you set aside a bucket of money that was the play money to spend on the game.
right,
Um,
that's right.
yeah. So, uh, how did that work? I mean, did you put like like $100 away every month to spend on the game? Or how did you budget it? And you're a CPA, so I know you know about budgeting. But I mean,
Yeah.
how did you
Well,
determine the spend on the game?
well, to be honest with you, I mean, I do know a lot about budgeting, unfortunately,
Yeah,
but
right.
I wish I could do more of it because my wife and I, she's the free spirit, and I'm the penny pincher
Yeah, right.
guy, and so, but sometimes it's just better to pick your battles, and
Right.
yeah, I tell her all the time. I said, look, I don't care because she makes good money herself. I mean, she works a fraction of the hours I work and makes about as much as I do, maybe sometimes more,
Yep.
depending on the season. And because she's a real estate paralegal that she does um, uh, freelance work outside and works for attorneys, and she has her own business.
Okay.
So, but she'll sit there and spend money on things and just make her feel good or whatever. And I said, look, I don't care.
Right.
Just don't put us in a bind.
Right.
Just don't put us in a bind. Like I want to, if we want to be able to have a good time this weekend and go out to dinner, watch a movie, whatever, I want to be able to do it. I
Right.
don't want to be paycheck to paycheck broke, and we haven't been. So I don't care. So anyway, I put away like a certain amount of money towards my bills, and then I put another. I was telling you earlier before we were recording, I own
Yep.
like two rental properties behind me,
Yep.
so I put money in that too to kind of pay for, put money in as a buffer for any type of repairs or whatnot,
Yep.
and anything left over outside of that goes into my fund account.
Your fun account.
And
Right.
yeah, and so I don't spend all of it on there because I've actually I started playing picked up the guitar
Yep.
recently and started playing that, so that takes a little bit of money too. Um but yeah, so I've been using that to do, and plus I have maybe like some work rewards that I'll cash in. I'll get like an Apple card or something and
Sure.
use that. So I mean, I think I mentioned before, kind of like I consider myself maybe a baby dolphin or something.
Yep.
Nothing crazy at the time, but I never did. I can't see myself paying $1,200 for a champion,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I did once or twice spend 400 or 500
Right.
for the final milestone. So and if my wife hears that, she was going to kill me. But
Well, hopefully she doesn't watch my channel, so
yeah,
I think we may be safe. But
but this is
yeah.
yeah,
So speaking of your wife, so you say that, and you're a very busy man with a CPA career, and your wife has a job. You
yeah,
described your MCOC as your TV time game. In the
right.
evenings with your wife, is your wife cool with you playing the game and and focusing on the mobile device and she watching TV? Is that an evening
Well,
of
she's
normality for y'all?
yeah, yeah. It's pretty much normal, but
Yeah,
like she'll be on her own phone playing her games or
yeah,
doing things. She'll get on TikTok and and just scroll on that for hours, and I'm playing Marvel.
You you
So,
you have let her open
but
crystals on your account, right?
absolutely, yeah, and she's
Yeah.
pulled me some absolute bangers sometimes. I know she got me Sunspot. I mean, not Sunspot, but Serpent and Onslaught.
Right.
And back before the last Titan rollover, I think I had about 15 7 stars and I think maybe three Titans. And we had like a competition between her and my son to just kind of see, they both could open up eight at the time, seven or eight at the time.
Right.
And she ended up getting it because she ended up getting um, Dazzler and Silk for me. So
It.
so
I was on a walk with my wife today. We were taking the dog out for a walk, and it's funny. We have an agreement essentially, is that I don't talk to her about the game because she's tired of me talking about this game because we've been playing it for, we've been,
yeah.
2014 or whenever this thing came out. We've been playing it for that long. Can you imagine this, man? I mean, we've been playing this game for over 11 years. It's absolutely crazy. It's the longest commitment I've
It
had
is
next to my
crazy.
wife. So, all right. So let's
Yeah.
let's move on. Let's see. What would you say to Kabam directly if they asked you feedback on how to keep players like you engaged long term, in addition to improving customer service and communication with the player base? What would you say to Kabam directly?
I would say maybe consistency and, across the board and maybe have training that everybody is in the same, uh, maybe they have some kind of guidelines so everybody treats everyone the same. I mean, I know being customer service, and I'm in public accounting. You
Yep.
get some crazy people out there. And I know you work in sales, and I guarantee
Yep.
you come across it too. But um, it's just we pride our firm. We pride ourselves. We're probably like the eighth largest international firm in the world, and
Yep.
we pride ourselves in unmatched client experience. And we try
Yep.
our best to provide. Every client has a purpose. Every client
Yep.
has a is important in their own way, and it's difficult to do. But I think that if they strive to do that, I think it will make it better, across the board for everyone.
Yep.
And kind of like I was watching Vega, talking about his experience, and I don't know the story about that at
Yep.
all, but I can imagine, um, being an older guy with experience, I can imagine, pushback and everything else, and it's just, if everybody treated everyone is not the same, but just with better.
Empathy.
It's just empathy, yeah, or
Yeah.
it's empathy or sympathy, really,
Yeah.
and put themselves in their shoes and understand, like, and try to understand where they're coming from.
Yeah.
Forget about the wackos.
Yep.
That they don't matter and whatever. But people who
Right.
play the game consistently, like we do, I've been playing forever.
Yeah.
I spent the game. I love this game. I still love this game. That's why I haven't quit, because I love this game and I
Yep.
love my community. I love my alliance, and I do enjoy the game.
Yep.
I recently got Nico, and she's absolutely amazing.
She's amazing.
I
Yeah.
just love playing. Yeah, I just
Yeah.
absolutely love playing with new characters, and I'll play them for about 3 or 4 months, and I'll pick up the next one and play
Yeah.
him. And like right now, my favorite champ right now is Hood, and
Yeah.
he's absolutely essential in my path in a war, and to take it down Gore in like 30
Yeah.
seconds, and it's insane.
Well,
But
Well,
um,
I'm
yeah,
I'm I'm glad that you're bringing up the whole customer service issue. We had a conversation with a bunch of content creators. Just I think it was yesterday or maybe probably the day before, maybe Friday night, and it was in response to the Kabam Crash Dev Diary that he sent out. And
yeah,
the conversation that we were having with these content creators was that these cosmetics, right? These cosmetics are a way for Kabam to help try to entice getting new spenders in the game, right? To people who
for
people who have not spent before, they want to entice them to come into the fold and start spending in the game. And the
yeah.
point that I brought up to these other guys is that it is the holy grail is of course enticing new players to come spending in the game, but we should not try to do that so much that we forego the current spenders. The Kabam should be focused on trying to make or keep those current spenders in the game as well to keep spending. And so
Yeah.
that was the conversation. Now, this your story of customer service is one of those areas where you don't want to discourage people from spending on the game like they have, like it has happened to you. You want to encourage you to keep spending because you have already crossed that line. You are no longer free to play. You have crossed that line to investing in the game because you enjoy playing it.
Yeah.
The
Right.
Kabam does not want to discourage you to go back over that line. They want to keep you spending, and yeah, it's just it's a sad story that you tell that may have soured your desire to continue the investment. But yeah, but okay. So I have got to end the interview now, but I do want to
Okay.
ask you my last question.
Sure.
Try to ask everybody. I don't know if you know what I'm going to ask you, but I want
Oh yeah.
I want this series to be a long running series. I want people to keep listening to it, keep coming back for new episodes. As a avid and long term player of this game, Deadeye, uh, who would you like to see in future episodes of Voices of the Community? We're talking free to play, we're talking whales, we're talking content creators, we're talking Kabam employees. Who would you like to see in a future episode?
Oh, I didn't even think about Kabam employees. I mean, that's pretty crazy.
Yep,
Because I enjoyed watching the live streams and listening when they bring people on, especially like Kabam Crash. I think he's very well spoken, very intelligent man.
yep,
Um, and I was and having yeah, that would be probably my go-to with that is
okay,
and having a forum whether or not maybe forced to have canned responses. I guess I don't want to. Oh, that's not a really good term, but that they can not that they would be completely open to say what they want and get in trouble, but they you understand what I'm trying to say is
yep,
they could kind of be more themselves and just and
yep,
they're not on the clock. They're just really just saying, hey, this is how their experience in the game is and how they expect and what they'd like to see themselves down the road if they weren't employees.
yeah, absolutely.
That'd be kind of cool.
Well, I will see what I can do when I'm up in November next month. Only a few short weeks away. We'll see if we can get a couple of them on
Uh,
on the record. I know many people over there and respect and admire every single one of them. So I'll see what I can do to get one of them on tape for you.
Fantastic. That's awesome, man.
All right, man. So I'm going to end the interview now. Everybody, thank you so much for watching this interview. It's great. Deadeye, thank you so much for spending your time with me tonight. And if you guys wouldn't mind, hit the like and subscribe on this video. Helps this channel grow as well as helps me put out more episodes of Voices of the Community. So with that being said, thank you so much for joining, and I'll see you in the next one.